How's it going, Song of Ice and Fire fans? It's Grant from Yecats Miniatures, and we've got a very special announcement today. Well, I say announcement, we've already announced that what's going on, but we're going to talk a little bit about it today. And I'm joined by my good friend James. How's it going, James?
Yeah, all good. Thanks for having us on, Grant.
No, mate, that's welcome. No, you're part of the team. So we're here today to talk a little bit about UK Nationals, which is taking place at London Grand Tournament this year. So basically, it's replacing the London Grand Tournament event for a Song of Ice and Fire with a CMON endorsed UK National event. So this is the event to be playing at if you're serious about your Song of Ice and Fire, which is fucking awesome news, mate. I'm excited. How about you?
Yeah, I'm pleased to be back going to London again. It's a great event. Everyone has a great time. Good social. Good to see everybody from around the country coming all together to play some games over a weekend.
Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. And I think the LGT crowd, the LGT community is really, really good. It's I didn't go last year. I went the year before, and it's probably one of the best gaming weekends of my life. But yeah, it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to it. So we've been asked to host this year. Well, I've been asked to host this year, and I wanted to make sure that I had a good team behind me, and I asked you, and you were happy to jump on and give me a hand, which I'm really appreciative for, because obviously you had a hand in Tioing it last year, so that's wicked.
Yeah, do you know what? It was quite nice actually to sit back, not stress, watch some games, and yeah, just have a bit of a laugh with people, but not have to get involved with all the stress. So yeah, it was quite nice.
Yeah, definitely. So what I went to do today is just do a brief overview of sort of what we've done so far, and we'll try and do these regularly, probably like once every couple of weeks, maybe once a month at absolute worst, to go through some of the more finer details as we go through, because it's really important we push the event out there to get as many people in attendance as we can. So just so we can really show off the UK community and outside the UK international community that want to travel in for it. I know that guys from Rotterdam White Scars have travelled for the last few years. It'd be great to see them there again. So it's going to be held on the 28th and the 29th of September, which is the last weekend in September. It's going to be held at the same venue as it has for the last few years, which is the Lee Valley Athletic Centre, and that's on 61 Meridian Way, London, N90AR. So that's all sorted out, and obviously the more tickets that we sell, the more spaces will be given to hold the tournament. So obviously if you're thinking about getting a ticket, I'll recommend you get a ticket ASAP. The tickets are on sale. I'll post a link on the screen now. I'll also post a link in the description below. There's two options there for you. You can get the £50 ticket, which you can cancel up to 30 days before the event, or if you're a little bit on the fence and want a bit more time, the £70 ticket allows you to cancel within 14 days of the event. So there's some really cool options there for you. Once you have bought a ticket, definitely sign up on Stats so we can gauge numbers from there. List lock won't be until a lot closer to the time. That's all of the basic stuff. What we will say is at this stage we have finalised the events pack, and that will be going live this weekend. This podcast should be dropping on Sunday the 10th of March, and the event pack should be following it quite quickly, if not just slightly before. So that's the initial boring stuff. Obviously, we had a conversation, James. We want to make sure that for us it's about getting out all the important, boring, I guess is the right word for it, all the boring stuff out of the way, so people can start looking forward to what the event is going to be, and we can concentrate more on expanding the community and trying to push the event out a bit further afield. So we've obviously announced the game modes this week as part of that. The game modes have been taken directly from the tournament guidelines they released in Season 4. So there are 7 scenarios in that list. I'll put them on screen now. They are Game of Thrones, Winds of Winter, Honed and Ready, Dance of Dragons, Here We Stand, A Feast for Crows, and Banners and Butchery. Now, obviously, we've decided to not use Banners and Butchery, which I think is the right choice at the minute. James, do you want to sort of talk a little bit about why we're not using that?
Yeah, I think we've had a bit of mixed reaction from the community about this particular scenario. I think it's quite complex. I've also heard there have been a few tournaments that have already used this scenario before, and it can complicate the strength of the schedule just because of the way that victory points are scored. So I think the right option is just to leave this one out.
Yeah, I totally agree, mate. So we spoke about it quite in length. We discussed the order in which we're going to run the different game modes. because it's important for us that we get that right for the community. And I think you're right. I think Banners Butchery just complicates things as well. It's a new scenario to learn. I know we've got a long time to learn the scenario as well, but I'd rather play it safe with the scenarios that we know. Obviously, we don't see Dark Wings, Dark Words in this list. We don't see Clash of Kings, and we don't see Fire and Blood. So there's a few scenarios there that I probably would have liked to have run, but obviously because this is an official CMON tournament, we're only allowed to run the game modes that they dictate that we can. So let's talk a little bit about the order then. So first up, we're going to go with Game of Thrones, which I think is a pretty standard scenario. That's that 5 token scenario. I'll put it on the screen now so people can see it. I think that's quite a good scenario to start with, James. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, when we all start playing this game, it's the first scenario that we all learn. It's the first scenario that we all play. It's probably the scenario that we've all played the most.
Mm-hmm.
And because we've got that little bit of familiarity going into the first round where you pretty much know what your strategy is going to be for this game, I think it settles everyone in nicely, and it gives, it's a bit more relaxed. So first game, get all the nerves out, and then you have a good chat with your opponent before the game starts. And I think it's a great way to start the weekend off.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, mate. Round 2, we move into Honed and Ready. Then we move on to A Feast for Crows. And we finish the first day on Winds of Winter. Now, the reason that you've chosen this scenario for last on the first day is because it can get a little bit complicated. And if there is a little bit more time needed, perhaps we can allow that to overrun slightly, because it's the one with the mission deck. So just to make sure that everyone gets the games and the games finish on time. I'm sure we can still do it in the 2 hours allocated, but it's just a case of giving everybody the best opportunity that we can.
Yeah, so it just means that if you do need an extra 10 minutes or so after the time's called, we can make a decision at the time, and all it does is it just runs into those players' evenings, so it doesn't affect everybody else.
Yeah, no, I think it's the right choice to make. And obviously after we finish those rounds for the day, I'll be filming the best painted army in like a proper light box and getting really cool images of it, because when we do when we announce the winner of best painted, I want to do an interview with the painted with the general in question as well, which would be quite nice. The second day, we're starting with Here We Stand. It's a bit of a strange one on the list, because I've always found it's a bit of a jippy scenario really for organised play, but we're actually going to masking tape off the quarters the night before. So when you guys are drinking or going home, whatever, me and James will be putting sellotape on mats with masking tape, just so it's all marked out ready for people, just to try and make things as easy as we can for the players, and just to stop the amount of questions or bickering or time it will take to sort of measure out the quarters. I think it's very much a comfort choice, but I think it's the right choice to make.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it saves the players all the hassle of trying to sort out all those tables, so they can just turn up Sunday morning, crack on.
Yeah. Then after lunch, we're going into a Dance with Dragons before finishing off with a Game of Thrones again. So obviously Banners and Butchery we have swapped out for a second go at Game of Thrones. I think it's really cool. It's the way that we normally run our local tournaments. So ending with Game of Thrones is always a good way to go out. So that is the running order of the rounds. That won't change, but that is locked in now. So that is the scenarios we're playing. Is there anything you want to add to that, James, before we move on to the next subject?
No, so the only thing is that we have had a long discussion about all of these, and we've really tried to make this as friendly as it can be for players' time and smooth run-ins and that sort of thing. So we haven't just sort of thrown this together at a whim.
Yeah. I think we should also mention at this point, so all of the rounds are 2 hours long, and there's a 15-minute changeover in between rounds for players to go and get a drink, have a toilet break, etc. We'll come back to this again in a minute, because we're going to talk a little bit about clocks at the end as well. But you have the full 2 hours to play your game, which I think it is definitely 100% more than enough time to play a game. Next up, we're talking about scenery, James. So we've decided to go for chosen scenery by the players. Again, it's something that we have discussed. We've played tournaments with random scenario, with random terrain, where you make the pool and you place it. We've had a look at the new version where you get like the set Riverland cards, where you get the set pieces. We sort of spoke a little bit about that, but we didn't really feel it was for this tournament. And also, we've just played another tournament, and there was random terrain in that tournament as well. And I just feel that this is the UK national, so this is really supposed to be everyone playing at an extremely high standard. Not that that's all it's for. It's about having fun at the tournament. But at the top tables, I believe that scenery choice comes down to the way you pick your army and what you're playing against. And those top table players will choose terrain based on those things, of those variants. And it is important for them to have the option to be able to play those chosen pieces of scenery. What's your opinion on these? I know obviously you agree with this because we've discussed it, but do you want anything you want to add to that?
I completely agree with you. So, whilst I think there certainly is a skill with playing with random terrain, and the skill comes with adapting to whatever you're given out of that pool, it might be a case of actually whatever you get in the pool doesn't really help you, and what you end up with is, for example, 2 palisades that end up on each board corner that don't actually affect how the game's played. With Chosen, you're making a conscious choice that's gonna help you win the game or hinder your opponent. And it means that the terrain is going to play an interactive part of the game that you're actually going to play, rather than it gets slung in a corner and no one really worries about it.
Yeah, I think it is the right choice. It's 100% the right choice for this tournament. Yeah, so that's covered that as well. And finally, we had a long discussion about clocks. Now I know that LGT run them last year, and they were basically a success. Really, it did exactly what Paul wanted them to achieve on the day. But we've sort of sat down, we've discussed it, and we feel that potentially the danger of clocks is that it will push people that don't want to play with clocks away from the tournament. And it's important that we build the community at this stage and we get as many people to this event as we can. I feel that we've given people 2 hours to play the game, which is more than enough to complete a game of A Song of Ice and Fire. We've given people 15 minutes in between rounds to go toilet breaks and to have drinks, etc. And the game modes that we feel are potentially the most lengthiest, like Winds of Winter, we put at the end of the day so that we can make sure that those games finish. And also we've allowed an extra half hour in between the end of round 7 and the award ceremony. Now, it might be that all the games are finished at 4:30 and the award ceremony can start a little bit earlier, which I've got no problem doing. We can do that. I don't think people are going to be going away and having a small party in between the last round and the award ceremony, so everyone will be in the hall still. So we can push that earlier if the game finishes earlier, but it just allows a little bit of flexibility on the end round to make sure that game does finish. Again, it really comes down to the fact that I don't want to scare off people with the use of the dirty word, of the dirty C word, clocks. I just want people to be able to come down and enjoy the event and not have to worry about how clocks can be implemented. We discussed various different options, didn't we, James? We spoke about the potential of, do we give them to people that want them? If one person decides they want the clock, it should be implemented. We talked about putting the semi-finals and the finals on clocks in the top 3 tables. We talked about putting the top 5 tables on clocks. But I don't feel that we need to put the added pressure of clocks onto people when it's quite easy to finish the game in 2 hours. And also, people are encouraged, if they feel their opponent is slow playing and playing for time, to flag down a TO and get us to come over and have a look, and we'll watch the next couple of activations to see what happens and enforce that game to be finished in the 2 hours. I think that's covered everything from my part when it comes to clocks. Is there anything you'd like to sort of talk about, James?
I mean, you've covered most of the points. I think just want to reinforce that half an hour for the that last session, that last game that we play, is really important for us because we want to ensure that the final and the semi-final games finish with a definitive conclusion, and not because we've called time because we have to finish. We want to know that whoever wins this is the actual definitive winner through victory points or wipeout. And I think that's quite important. And again, I just want to reinforce that we're really trying to promote the gaming etiquette side. So we want everybody to turn up, we want and have a good time, enjoy themselves. Yes, it's a competitive tournament, but there's no reason for people to not be polite and take their opponent's feelings into consideration whilst they're playing through this game. So we didn't want that added pressure of having to put that system in place when we don't really need to. We just want people to have good gaming etiquette, have fun, and enjoy themselves.
Yeah, 100%. That's all it comes down to. It's just we want to run a competitive event that people want to come to, that look forward to coming to the following year. And I think, yeah, people can quite easily finish the games in that time. There's no reason they shouldn't be able to. I think one of the biggest problem scenarios for finishing games in time is Dark Wings, Dark Words, but that's not even part of this tournament, so it shouldn't become a problem now. I think that covers everything from my part, mate, for this episode. Is there anything you'd like to add?
No, I think you've covered everything. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. So again, the link for tickets are in the description. So please go and grab a ticket. And also just like to add as well that if you buy your ticket before May the 31st, you'll be entered into a raffle to win a starter set of your choice. You can't have House Aaron; they're not out yet. But anything else you want is yours. But I really do urge you to buy your tickets as soon as you can, because the more tickets that we sell, the more space we are given to run the tournament. It's really important to back this tournament as soon as you can if it's something that you're looking to get into, if it's something you're looking to push. And once you've bought the ticket, please do sign up on Song of Ice and Fire Stats. There is a page up for the UK Nationals. Yeah, and any questions, do put them in the comment section below, because me and James will go through them, and we are going to do more episodes. If there's questions that are relevant to the community, we will come back and we will obviously answer those questions. We might even do a live session where people can put in questions live, but for the moment, just keep them into the comment section, and we'll come back to you and let you know the answers, potentially record them and put them out on a future podcast. Yeah, that's it. All right, James. Well, thanks for your time, mate. I'm looking forward to doing this tournament with you. I think it's going to be a success. We just need to make sure we're pushing it and make sure people are committing early, just to make sure that we do get the space that this amazing game deserves.
Yeah, totally agree. It'd be really good to hit numbers that we've had in previous years. So yeah, get signed up.
100%, 100%. Okay, mate. Right. Well, cheers for that. And next time we'll go over some of the other stuff like streaming, lunch, all that sort of stuff. We'll go through that. Yeah.
Yep, sounds good.
Okay, mate. You take care. Have a lovely one, and I will speak to you soon.
You too. Cheers.
Bye.